Well, hi, and thanks for joining me here in my shop for, yes, another round with this radio here, which I'm actually getting quite angry at this point. I can be angry at the radio or angry at myself. There's no need for anger here. So what's happened is I became quite convinced a while ago that something's going on with the tube sockets in this radio, and for good reason I got convinced of that. Yesterday I took the extraordinary step of removing one of the tube sockets. Extraordinary for me, I wouldn't normally try anything like that. Took the socket out, looked at it, examined it, can't see that there's anything at all about it that would cause a problem. Put it back in, got exactly the same result from this radio afterwards, and the result is tap a tube and swing goes wild. All kinds of wild stuff happens, which is why I thought the tube sockets were bad. But the very last thing I did in that video is I tapped this can and got the same result again. So I don't know what I said at that point. I may have muttered something. I think I probably did. Oh my God, have I been fooled all the way along here trying to chase problems in tube sockets that actually are coming from somewhere else, somehow else, something different than what I think it really is here. So what that means is, and you can see I've got my stick handy here. So I have had tremendous success with nothing more than a stick fixing radios, finding stuff just like this. And what it takes is a long time of tapping. Now I already know that this thing is so sensitive that you tap it anywhere and you get a response. So how is this going to narrow anything down? The radio's not on right now, I'm just talking here. So I'm thinking maybe another investigative step I can take is I can pull, say, all the tubes out but the output tube, run the radio, see what happens. Shouldn't be harmful to the radio at all. It's a the power supply for the heaters is a transformer. So first I'm going to turn it on just the way it is. I'm going to tap a little bit, reaffirm the idea that tap anywhere you get a response. And then I'm going to pull out a bunch of the tubes and we're just going to play with it, put a tube in, play with it, just keep goofing around and trying to see if we can't get some kind of resolution here. Of course, as I showed before in an earlier video, I have the ultimate resolution always handy, just out of sight. Actually, it's within sight of the radio, so the radio can see that thing on my wall here the whole time. He knows what's up in the long run. Okay, so let's do what I said. I'm going to turn them on and tap a little bit. There we go. On the tapping front, this tapping thing is, there's skill involved. So this stick is a bigger, heavier stick than this one. This one's much lighter. You can tap very lightly with these things. Just let the mass of the stick do the tapping, literally. I mean, can you get any lighter than that? Okay, radio's already making funny sounds. You know, I haven't really tried cleaning these switches, come to think of it. Not consistent. Every time I push on the switch, I bend the circuit board a little bit just from pressure. So the effect could maybe not be coming from the switch itself. Sure seems like it though, doesn't it? So that's another thing to eliminate early on. I should really look into that right off the bat. I can see holes I can spray stuff into. Now we're going to tap some tubes here. They all sound the same. Sounds like a spring rattling a little bit, doesn't it? It always seems the tubes are the most sensitive thing. What if it's one of these tubes? What if the tube itself, one of these tubes, has some sensitivity in it that I keep triggering. Well, we'll pull the tubes out and it will disappear, wouldn't it? It doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense. Where'd the radio go? Now I know in this state, this tube conducts too heavily. Come on, man. Come back. You know what? My stick hit, just then, hit that plastic, this funny plastic board here. It just tapped it ever so lightly. Let me get the lighter stick here. So now I'm moving it. Look at that. Wow, that's pretty convincing. Maybe it's this wire here. That's pretty convincing. Maybe it's this tube. Well, that's really convincing. Maybe it's this tube. Nope, see, it has to be this one. Holy smokes. Oh my gosh. I had a clear head when I started. I don't anymore. It's all messed up again. Right, let's see if I can knock it off with this. And then bring it back by touching this. No, no, no. Okay, well, I know it's not up there. Whoops. I went a little harder than I expected there. I have the radio running on reduced power right now, so if it does go into this mode, it's not drawing everything it could, you know, through the cathode resistor. And wish I had some cold freezy spray, but I don't have any to try on this. Wow. Now all that stuff I did there, it's very convincing the problem's over there. What if I go over here and do that same stuff? No, doesn't seem to do anything. Pretty certain to have isolated into this area here. Getting away with poking now and nothing's happening, so this is a good opportunity. How can it not be? Could it be that resistor right there? Barely touching it. Okay, so what we're going to do for another repeat, do more resoldering of the board under this area. It's all been resoldered pretty much. I wonder if I should take that resistor out. I should test the resistance of that resistor. Maybe like resistors can get broken inside and then cause all kinds of weirdness. This kind of weirdness. So that's supposed to be, it looks like a brown, black, yellow. It would be 100K, I think. Brown, black, yellow. Now it's in circuit, so this is not the most valid thing. $100 on the money. Now I'm going to flex it a bit. Yeah. I don't think this is the problem. The resistor itself. Just having a lot of trouble making contact with it here. Just not making contact securely. There we are. Okay. You would think if there's something wrong with the resistor, there's no way it would come down to its factory value. So I'm going to go ahead and do the resoldering thing because I don't know what else to do really, and that just seems to be glaring that I should do it. Aside from all my tapping and other approaches, let's do that. It could be some kind of a cold solder joint that looks fine, but isn't. And the area we were tapping in was just right next to the. We were tapping in this area here. Yeah, you know what else can I do? I'm just going to have to kind of resolder all that stuff. Maybe what I'll do is I'll do like everything from this line over. Doesn't quite make sense. I should do like kind of circuit-wise. I should do everything involving this tube and this tube. So it's kind of this. Maybe I use this as the dividing line here. Do everything on this side of this big ground patch here through here. Yeah, can you hear the excitement in my voice? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do all that. Okay, so I've done that. I did it using these magnifiers here so I could really see clearly what was going on. I didn't see anything too interesting in there. I didn't see anything that looked like, aha, the brake. No, that didn't happen. So now we're going to try the radio. The problem with doing this kind of thing is you're just about as likely to create a problem as you are to fix a problem. That's what I think. Okay, up and over. Here we go. Down. Okay, plug it back in. So you know, the reason I pull the plug out regularly when I'm working on these radios, even though I have a double switch control box here, you have to make two mistakes to energize it by accident, is there's just a basic principle in electrical safety that a person should see an open break in the circuit they're working on. Should be able to see an actual physical disconnection. So it's not just a box with a switch on it. It's an actual physical break, and that's why I keep pulling the plug out. Okay. Let's see what happens here. The plug is back in. The volume is down. We're on broadcast. Okay, normal dim light action there. Oh, that's a good sign. Wow, if this thing has become stable, then I've been a bad boy. Okay, are we ready? Here we go. Holy smokes. You mean to say that's what I've been chasing all this time? You know, as bad as I feel about how long it's taken me to do this, thumbs up, it's done. So I'm going to stop now, take a little break, ponder my my situation here, review. This is like an airplane accident to me, you know. So how did I end up way off track? Pilots crash airplanes for good reasons. Okay? Yes, you can crash an airplane for a good reason. Usually because of partial information is usually what's happening. Yeah. Made sense for me to spend all that time chasing those. I hate to go back through the videos and read all the comments. I do read comments now and then. I'm not 100% not reading them. And I'm sure there's all kinds that'll say, do the trace, do the trace. But I did the traces. Just didn't do them enough. Okay, great. I'm all happy now. Great. What's next? Okay, lots of thoughts going through my head here about how I got off track, but let's not worry about that. I think the next thing to do, first thing to do now that the radio appears to be operating the way it's intended, is what is the voltage drop on the cathode resistor? What is the current going through this tube and therefore through the output transformer? Is this radio going to catch fire? Is this tube, this is the wrong tube in this radio, is it going to work? That's really the question. Or is that resistor going to smoke up now? Maybe all this time the radio's been in such a state that it has not burned this resistor. Maybe it's ready to burn it now. Kind of doubt it. Last time we saw, I think, 12 volts dropping on the resistor. So let's see what we get this time. Here we go. Okay, this is with restricted power to start. And I don't know for sure that meter's connected. Let's just watch. And we should listen. Here we go. Wow, it's a lot less than before. So I'm going to put the radio on full power here. You hear it definitely getting louder and louder, right? So it's getting into the 12. It's getting back to the 12. And that was a 3, I've forgotten now. Was it just a little bit off? Is that 337? If it's a 330, this translates to somewhere in the range of 35 milliamps. 35 milliamps through the tube. Let's try a different band because occasionally these things change a little bit. Shortwave. That's my soldering iron, that chucking sound. Ooh, 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 what was that noise? Now that could have been just something turning on and off in my house. Look at this. Hey, what happened there? You had a loss of volume. Are there more breaks on this board? Looks like more soldering is required here. Huh. Yeah. More soldering is required. Let's hear some FM while we're here. Anyway. Now, I basically have no antenna. Sounds good though. Antenna. What about my finger as an antenna? And I'm tuning the... Okay, so my finger's a lousy antenna. Quickly. Hand me a piece of wire. Here's a piece of wire here. FM antenna. Why is it making that chucking sound? You shouldn't hear that on an FM radio. But again, that's my soldering iron doing that. Hey, what's going on here? It's not picking up anything. Another break in the board causing problems here. Tube up here. The push button. So most of the FM radios have a stage in them called a limiter. And a limiter takes the FM signal that's come in, a frequency modulated signal, and trims off, so to speak, the top and bottom. Makes the signal perfectly uniform amplitude wise. And then it sends that FM signal, the amplitude flattened because of the limiter, into a coil, and I won't explain it. Out of the coil comes the amplitude modulated signal matching the frequency modulation without any accidental amplitude modulation such as static, interference, lightning crashes. All that stuff got chopped off by the limiter. So it's just pure FM after that, and then it's AM from the pure FM. I explained it properly? I think, maybe? Doesn't help in this radio any. Well, what am I doing wrong that it's not doing any FM? Brakes on the board. What is going on? Did I not hook it up to the FM antenna? Sure I did. Something more is going on here. Well, we're not going to sweat over it right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shut this off. I'm going to resolder all the traces underneath this board from one side to the other. The ones I've done already, of course, I'll leave. I'm going to do all the rest. I never did see any indication where there was a fault in the trace, and I got one push here made me think there's more. Maybe there's more. Maybe there's one that's making the FM not operate at this point. I don't know why, but maybe. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Spend a little bit of time with my soldering iron. Okay, all done. Let's see if it still works. Because I consider that to be a bit of a risky operation, in that if you do introduce a cold joint or a failed bad joint or something like that, you won't know where it is in there. You'll be hunting for it for a long time. And if you did 2 or 3 of them, yikes. Or a short, if you manage to solder a short in, everything you do has a risk with it. Let's go back to broadcast. Here we go. Dim bulbs. Good. Still working normal. The light came on. It's a good start. A little bit of volume. Radio's working very good. Picking up a station where I don't normally hear a station in my shop. So it's really working quite good. And perfectly consistent. Why? I tell you. Okay. When you learn by doing, sometimes you pay a high price for a particular lesson. So I paid a pretty high price for this lesson. I don't usually work on radios with boards in them, but maybe a hint on this radio was that the board was soldered over, and it looked to me like it was manually soldered over. So who took the time in the factory to solder all those traces? And why would they pay somebody to do that? Because they have problems, and that was their solution, even in the factory. I could have thought that up. Good. FM. No, I don't have an antenna. And once again, let me just stick a piece of wire on there. So it has something. Oh, I have an FM antenna hanging. I have an FM antenna hanging here. Oh, for crying out loud. I forget things. There we go. Let's put that there. We'll put this over here. So I have rabbit ears hanging above my bench here. There. It's full volume.
And to see our own struggle of these five between my life.
Let's dig into each one now. We've kind of covered at a high level. You've given us a couple of examples today, and then we'll come back tomorrow. Goes back to security. Give us that definition, and then I'm going to dig into it on security.
Okay, security is defined by the question, who can I trust? We cannot place our security in things. They will fade away. Income, popularity, the job at this place, my grades, my beauty. It's dangerous. It's very common today to try to find our security in those things, but it's not going to work. Security is always found in people.
So security is number one. Obviously, from a Christian perspective, we find that in Christ. There's scriptures that are
Jesus is.
Okay, let's move on. Now that I stay there because A, they're talking and I can't get a copyright hit, and B, the signal's really strong on this radio, but the strong signal should be down here. And it just doesn't hear anything. So that's not too good.
Security is correct.
And if we give shortwave a bit of a better try here. Oh, I know the problem, he says, looking up and seeing, oh, we're still on restricted power. That's what's going on here. Crying out loud. Get out the works. Now, let's check it out. Still got to turn it up pretty high. Picking something up here now. Way too weak. Get the big guy right here.
I think of all the five, this is the one.
This is what this radio can do when it gets a good signal into it.
Right, and I'll say I agree that Christ is huge. And I'm going to back up and say I think it's because security.
Beautiful.
Right, okay.
Right?
Why is it not doing that up here? Well, I guess we could guess it's just alignment that's causing that failure to receive up here. But wow, what an improvement over the situation before. So now maybe I can't remember the strength of this tube here. Maybe I should retest this one. This could explain why FM's a little weak, while the AM is plenty loud. So. Why don't we do that right away? One reason would be to burn my fingers taking the tube out. Okay, yeah, I have to set up the tube tester here. Okay, all set to go here. Let me just double check. Double check, no power. Okay, ECC 85, same as a 6AQ8. 6.3 filament, 4 signal level, 21 low bias, 35176. 35176. PGK1, PGK1. 37. F for the plate. 1250. Twin triode. It's actually 2 tubes in one. 2 identical tubes in one. So I believe the way this works in the radio is one half is a RF amplifier to boost the antenna signal, and the other half is used as a mixer, I think. I'm not sure. Or an oscillator. I'm not really sure. Shouldn't have said anything. Okay, here we go. Anything wrong with this tube for shorts? No, no shorts showing. 1250 should be right there. Oh my gosh. No. Now that can't be right. It hardly moved the needle. This is correct. I would have noticed that first time around, wouldn't I? Didn't I? Did I not test it first time around? Yeah, I think there's a problem here with the socket again. Look at that. How can you trust any of this? Yeah. This is as bad as the radio it came out of. Well, we get every kind of reading you can think of. So the other half of the tube is tested this way. Okay, so I guess the pins involved are stable here. 1200, so this is just under 1200. What happens if I do this? Not much. Yeah, 1200 would be up here. So the 1200 is the reject point. You're supposed to get rid of it at that point. So this is actually below that. Take a shot at the other half of the tube again. Yeah, we just can't believe any of this. Yeah, same as a 6AQ8. Yeah, I can dial up a 6AQ8 on this guy here. It does not have the European listings, but a 6AQ8 will certainly be on here. 6AQ8. 6A. Q, A U, T U V, Q R S, T U D, Q R, Q. 6AQ7, 6AQ5. Is that right? 6AQ5, 6AQ8. 6AQ8. Uh-oh. It doesn't have it. It doesn't have a 6AQ8 on it. Phooey. How am I going to know about this tube? Get another tube, stick it in there. Get another 6AQ8 or something else. Just stick it right in the radio. And what do I hear here? Oh my gosh. Come on. I trapped my cat in the laundry room there. There she goes. I didn't know you were in there. Okay. Let me check into getting an alternate tube here. Okay, let's try this. And here is a bag labeled bag 18. Is it 18? I've forgotten already, just to be absolutely sure. 6A, 6AQ8, 18, bag 18. So we look for bag number 18. There. Somewhere in here. ECC 85, right there. There we go. Let's check that one out. So the thing about keeping records, this kind of stuff, is you have to keep the records up to date as you use up tubes and stuff like that. It adds work. It adds work. And hopefully if you've done it right, the work it adds is saved for hours of searching through for tubes. Oh, look at that bent pin on this one. Yikes. Who's at my door? Why, it's Shadow. Another bent pin here. So also when loose tubes are packed together in various ways, they push on each other's pins and bend them, and lots of stuff happens to loose tubes. Should I get that a little closer? Okay, let's give it a try. And we'll go back to this one here. This is still set for an ECC. Okay, ECC 85. In you go. Yeah, I know. No shorts. About the same as the last tube. But really supposed to be up here. So we'll check the sensitivity of this setting. So let's put a lot of sensitivity here. A little bit there too. So you know, if this is a little off, that's a little off. This might come up. I think the tube is right on the edge. Let's try the other half of the tube. Much better. Well, better. This tube tested consistently. It didn't jump around. Why the other tube backed up so much? Well, let's try this one in the radio. I mean, that's ultimately the test, right? Oh, look out, cat. Cat likes testing tubes. Come on, get up on the bench. Get up here with me. Okay, we'll put this guy back in. That soldering iron's a little hot there, kitty. Hang on. Don't be sniffing around that. I know it smells interesting, but let's turn it off. I guess you could get hurt with that soldering iron pretty easy, cat. Okay, let's keep here. This is the old one on the left. The new one, not quite in yet. What difference can this make? I don't know. There we go. What? What do you want to do today? It's going to be 3 degrees. That's pretty good. You want to go outside today? Oh. Don't want you near this right now. Go over this way a little bit. There we go. About the same level of volume. Very low. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, full power. It's picking up more, that's for sure.
this study the fact of the importance of surveillance testing in reducing the risk that our seniors have.
Distorted up there. This is where the pointer is.
A friendly, knowledgeable staff are located in Ontario. From unmanageable debt, we will help you find the right solution. Call us today to book your free no-obligation consultation. Visit debtsolutions.bdo.ca and let's get through debt together. I'm heading home to the parents for the holiday break.
Let's get through debt together. There's an offer. The strong stations. The hiss is getting stronger. Not bad.
In all of the annals of
Oh,
history,
look at that. This one station's just...
that he would deign to come and be born into a human flesh and become one of us. Deity literally came to be humanity.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely picking up a lot more with that too. Well, and maybe a little alignment activity might restore that. It might. What do you think, Shadow? Do you think it's time to try and align this radio? Give me your honest opinion. No, hey, you! Stop looking at my feet. What's your opinion on this? What's your opinion on it? Should we do the alignment? That's a yes. Okay, enough cat entertainment here. I think that's what we'll try next. We'll try fiddling around with the alignment. Maybe the radio's way off, and it'll come back a lot. Give it a shot. Great. Anyway, hey, it's working again. Holy smokes, I tell you. I wrote this radio off 5 times in my head. But persistence has paid off once again. Just never quit. Never quit. Okay, well, thanks a lot for watching. And I'll see you tomorrow. And maybe even Shadow will see you tomorrow. What do you say, kitty? And that's the response from the cat. I know a lot of you like to look at my cat, so I'll give you a chance. Great, thanks a lot, and see you on the next video.